journalist David Axe recently visited Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan, and Tarin Kot in the country's southern region. While there, he looked at police corruption and NATO troop efforts to reform and train the Afghan police force.
Kabul is the capital of Afghanistan. It's got about 3 million people. It's up in the northeastern part of the country, and it's sort of lies in a dusty bowl surrounded by mountains. Kabul is it's a typical third world capital in a country occupied by an international coalition. Conditions in Kabul are far better than in most of the country, owing largely to the presence of so many thousands of UN, EU, NATO, US NGO people, so many foreigners in Kabul who are spending so much foreign currency that the standard of living is pretty high compared to the rest of the country. And a lot of the folks in Kabul who work in the service industries provide services actually to the internationals. So it's a pretty lavish place by Afghan standards, meaning there are restaurants, there are hotels, there's even nice little cafes with wireless internet. Now, most of these things are outside are beyond what the average Afghan can afford, but for the journalists and the aid workers and for the people in the Afghan government, they're certainly affordable. And it's hot in the summer, actually not terribly hotter than Washington, D.C., but certainly much drier and dusty, and despite the injection of billions of dollars in reconstruction funds, the infrastructure is still pretty shoddy. There's been some work on the main road that connects downtown Kabul to the airport, but a lot of the side streets are still unpaved, and the basic construction material for anything short of an international hotel is still basically a mud brick. The average Kabul resident is not worried about a suicide bombing or some terrorist attack. Those things happen in Kabul. They're extremely rare. They do happen. Security to them means, can they trust their own local policemen? And most of them don't. And the number one complaint in Kabul is targeted at the police. Police stop cars randomly and demand bribes, basically, to let them go. People will get arrested for really no reason and hauled down to the station and won't be released until their relatives pay a huge fee. Police throw up checkpoints, and anybody who passes through who doesn't belong to their tribe, again, gets fined. There's a long list of things that police do to make everyday life in Kabul really hard for, especially people who are on the roads.
دیگر ترافیکا که از ترافیکا به جای جوار نمیده چی دروغ بگن ترافیک اگر اسناد نباشه اسناد نباشه لیسن داشته باشه بیا قانونی نکنی ترافیکی چیزی نه
says that if we are here, I'm one of the driver here. Our problem with the traffic, if we step on the road, so we also have red for trouble. And this is not our station. Our station is inside the city. Because we are so far from there. And if we drive there, we have to pay 300, 400 for the police, for the traffic, to let us go there and pick up our passengers. We have to park here. And if we have license and if we have driving license, so we don't have any problem. Not so much problem, actually. And we cannot make good money out of this many buses because there's not so much passengers, and every day if we come to the city we have to pay 300, 400 every time. People who pay the money in the city, you pay the money so you can do whatever you would like. If you don't, so you have to stay here from the morning up to the evening, but there is no passengers, we pick them up and we drive.
رشوت که ندی
ساده است
که رشوت ندید کارت پیش نمیره.
عادی ساده
کسی که پیسه داره کسی که پیسه
So
نداره
that getting bribe is something very normal and very, common among people, especially the management of the government. If you pay, you can do. If you don't, so hard to get anything.
این مردم که می‌بینی همه شامل بستر خود دنبال چیز گوشی میکنن.
You see here.
اینا فهمید اگر حقیقت بگویم فهمید دستان زیر سنگ است نمیتونه فهمید حقیقت بگو کلشون کل مردم چوره کلشون زمین
You see here, they are afraid.
از
That's
حقیقت
why
میترسن
they are, hiding the truth. They cannot tell you the truth because they are afraid of the traffic and the police. If you see the city and the surroundings, everywhere is corruption. Everywhere you have to pay. Whatever you would like to do, you have to pay.
The underlying problem is that the police force in Kabul has a great deal of power, but it also is paid extremely poorly. It takes about $100 a month to feed an average family in Afghanistan, and your typical policeman makes only about $75 a month. So he supplements his income by shaking down motorists and randomly arresting people and inventing charges that they have to pay their way out of. And this is Afghans' #1 complaint, that they just can't go about their daily lives without interference from the police.